Everyone, I'm here with Osprey Games at Origins, and I am here with Christian Waters, who is from Osprey, and we're going to talk about a new game that is kind of shocking because it's a Martin Wallace game, but it's a miniatures game, and it's called Wildlands. So what's the basic premise of Wildlands?
The basic premise is that an ancient kingdom has fallen to ruin, and 4 factions are fighting over treasure and control. The game actually comes with a 2-sided board. This is the dungeon side. And if you flip it over, it's a surface side, and it actually has some elevation built into it to add that to the game. But I like the dungeon version. And what you're seeing here is production. So this is the production art. This is what the board is really going to look like, and it's the same size. You get 20 of these miniatures. You can see how beautiful the detail is, and they'll come ink washed, just like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they'll have a clip-on base with color to keep, so you'll easily identify the faction on the board. All right, and you manipulate everything using cards. It's not like, dice-driven. And of course, because it's a Martin Wallace game, there's some subtle hidden strategy in this. So what you do to prep the game is you lay out your cards with your characters on them, okay? And each card has a number, a hit number, right? The health, and a symbol for that character to help you identify it. You're going to be dealt 10 of these number cards. You take 5 of your choice and put them down, face down for each character, so that this is where you'll place them on the board in the gameplay. You take the other 5 and hand them to your opponent, and they use that to place treasure. And in the real game, these are going to be like crystal shards, by the way. Okay, the box game. And then you are dealt a hand of 7 cards. And you'll notice that they have symbols on them that match the characters. So for instance, the bull matches Matilda the Minotaur, right? And when she was activated, she started in space 36. So the strategy for the game actually begins before the game even begins, because how you place these cards and where you place your characters to start the game becomes very, very important. But once you start to play, for instance, I could so here's Matilda here, she's in space 17. I could go, bam, Matilda. I'm doing a melee against this guy right here. Okay, 1 thing, which means if I land a hit, it's worth 1 hit point, okay? But once I play this, my opponent can interrupt, or anybody can interrupt. If you have a wild card like this, and you'll see that symbol with the exclamation point means I'm going to interrupt. And what they could do then is say, well, I'm going to swing at you first, or I'm going to try to escape first, or if you like playing with 4 people, somebody could come in behind me and stab me in the back. All right, and you can keep interrupting. It's basically how you fight the game, let's say. All right, and you can keep doing that until you run down the hit points. But if somebody had attacked me, I could have defended. So there's the shield next to the Minotaur symbol. If I had this in my hand at that time to play, and if I hadn't, then I'd have to take the hit. They have various things. That's a heavy melee that lays 2 points. You can do area attacks that, for instance, that would affect anybody in here or here, even if they were on my same group.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And then each of the factions has their own abilities. So, for instance, the lawgivers have been studying the book so long that they're severely nearsighted. They can't really see. So they can't use projectile weapons like arrows because they just can't see the target. But in close-in fighting, you want to get out of their way. And they can fly. They have the ability to fly. The nomads, man, you don't want to get close to those guys because they'll just cut you. Right? So each of the factions has a little bit of balance. The game, if you play it with 2 people, maneuver becomes important because you have the room to actually get in and get out. If you play 4 people, it's just a bloodbath. It's great. It's just non-stop fighting. Everybody's swinging at everybody. It takes about an hour to play. I went through actually most of the rules. It's rules light, but as you play it, the placing of your players, how you start, which treasure you're going to go at when, who you're going to defend and who you're going to attack, the strategy begins to manifest itself, and it gets really interesting, which of course you would expect from a Martin Wallace game. This is going to come out in October with the core. It's 20 figs, the double-sided board, all the cards and tokens you see. That'll be $80. In November, we'll have the first expansion, another set of 5 figs and the cards to go with it. We'll do the second expansion in February, and then maybe late spring, early summer, we're thinking we'll do the second board for it. So we and
Oh,
Martin
wow.
are really committed to the game, and we think it is a great game. It's just a lot of fun.
So what's the final objective to win the game?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, that would help. The final objective is whoever gets 5 points, whoever gets to 5 first wins, and that could be a combination of picking up treasure or killing an opponent. So you could kill 3 opponents and pick up 2 treasures and you win. You could kill 5 opponents and win, as long as you get to 5.
So it sounds like it's a fairly quick game, but there's still a lot of strategy going on with it, and a lot of fun combat as well.
A lot of fun combat. You got to be into the fighting, and because you have the 5 players, how you deploy them can require some forethought, which is always interesting too.
You can try to bunch them up, or you can try to spread them out.
Yeah, or you can pair them up so that somebody's got your back, and it's a lot of fun. Every time I play this game, I see more nuances of strategy in it that I hadn't seen before.
And I have to say that these figures just look amazing.
And they are paintable too, just because they're ink washed doesn't mean you can't paint them.
But these, it's interesting to see Martin Wallace design something with minis, but
yeah, who'd have thought?
He definitely has a lot of strategy to it.
Yeah.
So, and then you said around Gen Con-ish?
No, it'll be October.
October?
Yeah,
okay.
End of October. And then the first expansion will be 4 weeks later.
Okay. Well, something to look forward to then.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for showing this off.
My pleasure.